Howdy all, Moblox Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, I have got to find some water somewhere. Oh, right there. I found water on the map. Okay. I have 2 jars. I'm definitely going to need some more. Oh, there we go. 3 jars. So yeah, ooh, is this water? No. I was kind of hoping to find like a swimming pool. You know what? This is probably water. If I poke a hole in it, maybe. Might not be though. It's a tiny one. Whoa! No, bad wolf. Bad wolf. Dang it! He's just gonna sit there on my body. I guess at least I'm not thirsty anymore. Maybe. Maybe. Bad wolf. Max XP penalty reached. uh, oh, right. I was looking for my bag icon, but I don't have those settings on here. It's weird to respawn with all my stuff because I'm so used to having to go after my bag because that's the way the game was back in the day, right? And back in the day of like, what, 3 versions ago? So I'm not used to the default settings being you don't drop anything. I think there was a point where the default settings where you drop everything. And I've been running with you drop everything into a bag, I think, for a while now. But yeah, we get some water here, which is a must. And we'll probably look in town to see if we can't find someplace in there that's got some. But mostly I think I just need to get some XP going here with my max XP. Ugh. But yeah. Oh, let's see. I was trying to think what happens over the last couple of days that we could chit chat about while I'm hunting for water here. We played D&D last night. I know I like to talk about that. It was. Those are weird. That's the second time I've seen one of those. It was not exciting. Um, so I really only have the one game going now because nobody else updates anything, and it's a bit disappointing that nobody wants to play. But so the one we got going, oh, my cheap bow needs repairs. And so, oh man, she dodged me. So the one we're doing is basically Dracula, and this item needs repairs too. And so we went in this place, and our DM has zero concept of time. or space or anything. And so he can be a bit of a nightmare to work with because he'll tell you one thing and then you'll respond to it and then he'll change it. That's not what I meant. Well, that's what you said. Well, that's not what it says here. So it doesn't matter what I said because it's this other way. And he also he rolls so we can't see, so he fudges numbers. He rolls a natural 20 like every 5 seconds. Man, somehow I cannot walk toward water for some reason. And it's ridiculous. Like every time his bad guys save against something we're doing, he somehow rolls a 20. That's a natural 20 against your spell. That's a natural 20 against your spell. Natural 20 against your spell. That is a tiny amount of water right there. It's okay though, because I think there's a tiny amount right there. It's not okay. Wow. So that's it. We just got tiny pool of water here. And so we're in this temple, and we finished the temple last time we played. It's been a couple of weeks, 3 weeks I think, since we played. And so we played last night, and we come out of the temple, and he was like, well, what are you guys going to do now? I'm like, well, I mean, we don't really have much left. We should go after the castle. And so we had this NPC who's supposed to be with us. There's a mechanic in the game where cards are drawn, and the cards grant you knowledge of special weapons or people that will help you or places to gain knowledge. And so she just runs off. Like, she ran off like 3 or 4 times at this point over the course of our game, where after she joined us. And so it's infuriating to me that the game says she's supposed to be our companion, but she's never there. And like, we do something really hard, she vanishes. We do something really easy that we don't really need her for. Oh, well. Dude, he is... You want to do me a favor and hit this zombie? Thank you. Wow. And so he's like, well, what about Esmeralda? And I'm like, well, I mean, we don't really know where she's at, so I'm not gonna scan the entire countryside looking for her. I mean, if she's not gonna stick around and she's not there for when we fight the big stuff, then I don't know that we need her to fight the next big stuff. She's not much of a companion if she never stays put. And so then he plays a character that's on the team with us, and so he's like, I want everybody to roll a wisdom check. So the D&D is a game of dice, or random numbers anyways. And so you have your stats, just like a game, right? You know, like in this game, I've got my stats. What have I got? I've got perception, strength, fortitude, agility, intellect. So you got that kind of stuff in D&D, right? And so then those points that you have in those translate into skills based off of those attributes, right? So wisdom, wisdom is perception, for example. And so if you have high wisdom, that gives you a big bonus to your perception. Um, the idea being that if you're if you're wise, it means you know about the world, and so you learn to differentiate between things easier than someone, say, who has a high intellect and a low wisdom would be really good at figuring out things, um, like, you know, rifling through papers and stuff. So instead of a perception, you would roll a investigation, right? And so that's kind of the difference. So like a high intelligence doesn't mean they're smarter than the wise person. It just means that they are more book learned, whereas wisdom means they're less book learned and more. Not that you can't have high int and high whiz in the same character, um, just that that's kind of the concept there. And so to have you just roll wisdom means that he's making something up, probably. Not a wisdom save, which is a thing. Uh, okay, I would like to boil some water. And so because of our wisdom checks, just straight roll your number and add your wisdom modifier, which, like I said, is not really a thing. That's just, oh no, that's. I was looking at this. I'm like, it's gonna take me 67 minutes to cook that water. What? No, it's gonna take a minute. Uh, and so I'm just like, seriously. And because he does this thing where he's like, so he's very antagonistic when it comes to us trying to succeed on something. And so he doesn't like it when we try to use a skill, because if you're good at a skill, you get your proficiency bonus, which goes up the higher your level is. And so, like, let's say I'm playing a fighter who's got a background as a scout, right? So I have put my extra points into wisdom after strength and constitution, and maybe dexterity. And so try to go for a bonus to that wisdom to get better perception. Um, and then you say, well, he's good at perception because you can pick different scores, or different skills based off of your background and your class, and so you might get a bump to like perception. So my fighter's good at perception, even though he doesn't necessarily have a high wisdom score, but he gets that proficiency bonus, and so he doesn't like that. He tries to change the game all the time to make it so that you don't necessarily get your bonuses because of your skills. And so like one of the skills is that he has fought tooth and nail over the course of our game is we'll go to do something like break open a doorway, and so there's another one of those weird rocks. And so um, as a fighter, a paladin, I have super high strength. I chose super high strength because he's a sword wielder, and strength is the stat you need to. I can't stand this new combat. I don't care if that dude just lost his head. I can't stand it. Is this like a new weapon? I can't stand it because I mean, I don't have points into it, but this not swinging through with the club and having to be standing on top of the bad guy uh, is just driving me crazy. Empty can. Okay. I keep seeing that and thinking it's a beaker, is why I have to keep checking out empty can. I mean, might as well go with punches, right? I mean, that's just as good as anything else. And so we do our wisdom check, and he's like, "Oh, you don't get like a sending, which is an actual spell, or a message or anything like that, but you feel like you should go to this place." I'm like, I don't want to go to that place. Like, fine, we'll go to that place. And he tried to start us there instead of where we were at until he looked at the map because he wanted to change how long we had been gone. And so suddenly the map is pretty tiny. And so a lot of times on these maps, when they have an overland map, each square is like 5 miles or something like that. And well, on this map, it's the opposite of that. And so each square on the map is a quarter of a mile. Oop. And so he's always trying to change the distance on the game. And so he's like, "It take you 5 days to travel that far." I'm like, dude, it's like 3 squares. That's not even a mile. Like, what is that, like 10 minutes to walk across? Wow. You should try aiming at the zombies. And so somehow our couple-hour trip one way took us 2 days the other way. And then he says there's time dilation on top of that. And I'm going to die again. I'm so bad at this game. And you know what? These knuckles have a farther reach than the club. And so, or at least they feel that way. And so we go to the place anyways, and he's like, "A week has passed. At least a week has passed since you've been in this place." And I'm like, "Okay." And it takes you 2 days to get down the mountain. Okay. Even though it's only about 8 squares divided by 4, 2 miles. 2 miles took us 2 days. And so then we go to he wants us to go to this place that we went to, Argynvost. And so we go to Argynvost, and I think he doesn't like what we did, is what's going down. And so what we had done was we ended up with this dragon skull that was the bones of a dragon, and we returned it to its tomb. And so it created a beacon of light. And then he I'm not sure if he wanted, I think he wanted us to fight the mongrel folk. And he was going to try and overwhelm us with the mongrel folk. And as a paladin, my second main stat after strength is charisma. And so I have really high like persuasion check abilities. And so yeah, see, I can fight better with these knuckles than I can with the club. I tell you, the club is broken. It's too short or something. And so, or maybe it's just the graphics on the screen make it seem. Oop, careful, it's stepping a hole. Or maybe there's some bonuses to hand. I don't know. Something is much better for me with these knuckles than they were with the club. But so what had happened was we go to the place where the mongrel folk are, and they're supposed to be being watched by this dude. And no, this is last night's game. I really need to hurry up my story here. And so we had to fight that guy. I don't know if we had to fight that guy, but I didn't know what else to do because every time we try to talk to anybody, they attack us. Every time. And so we talked to him, he attacked us. And and so after we killed him, they're like, "Oh well, now you're gonna have to kill all the mongrel folk." And I'm like, "Well, can we find one who seems a little more sane than some of the other ones? Like maybe we can tell them because they specifically talk about the light." And I'm like, "Well, we kind of made a light, so maybe we can send them all there." So we send them all this place, Argynvost. And so every time we turn around, there's another problem with these mongrel folk being at Argynvost. And so all I can figure is he's not happy with what we ended up doing with the mongrel folk, and he wanted us to fight them all. And since we didn't, they're just going to be a big pain in our side as punishment. And so we get out there, and for whatever reason, Esmeralda, our companion, is there, and she has killed a bunch of the mongrel folk. It was never explained why she killed them, just that she did. And now she has barricaded herself in their home, the abandoned mansion, with her master, who is also insane for whatever reason. And so after all that's said and done, and we're trying to figure out what to do, I'm like, Dracula, aka Strahd, gave us a list of things to do, and this Rictavio, her master, was on that list of things we were supposed to find. So I think since we know we're going after him to kill him at this point, because everybody that we've talked to has told us it's the only way out. Because we're trapped. We're trapped in Barovia, and it's the only way out is to kill him. And so I'm like, so this is what we'll do. We got Baba Lysaga, which he told us to kill. We killed the werewolves, and now we have Rictavio, which are the three things he asked us to do. So why don't we go to his castle with Rictavio and tell him that we've completed his quests, and that way we can get inside without having to fight our way in. Because our DM has been going on and on about all the stuff we're gonna have to fight. I don't know. He keeps talking about how he wants to end this campaign, but every time we try to do it, he does something so that we can't. And so last night was a great case of that, because after we came up with this plan to take Rictavio and Baba Lysaga's head and what is that? Scrap polymers. Okay. I was like, why is there a bottle of window cleaner? But so that's our plan. And so we start headed that way, and then he's like, well, the village won't let you in, that we have to go through. And we're like, Now this is a village that we had issues with before, and we ended up killing the previous mayor. Oh. Okay. I don't want to punch my way through 1200. And, so, there's this NPC who's there that we know is important to the story. If you've ever seen Dracula or read Dracula or know anything about Dracula, the story of Dracula in a nutshell is Dracula had a wife. The wife died, and it's like 400 years later, and Dracula has been reincarnated. Or no, not Dracula. The wife has been reincarnated, and Dracula wants her back. That is the story of Dracula in a nutshell. And so this is the same story. The woman that he wants is his wife, his brother's wife, has been reincarnated, and so he wants this woman. And so we know that. We've learned that over the game. We know that's what's going on. There's a lot of horribleness sounds. Punching is just so much better than that. Why won't you die? Oof. She's like, I'm not going down. You can't make me. And so we go into town. We kind of left her in charge. Not really, but our DM doesn't listen to us, and so dang it. The plan was to leave the accountant in charge. And somehow he decided that the accountant shouldn't be in charge and that this other woman who is important to the story and doesn't have time to be in charge of a town is now in charge of the town. And mostly because I think he knows we can't stand her. She literally talked for 45 straight minutes one night. Her being the DM. The DM, pretending to be this woman, talked for 45 straight minutes with another NPC while we sat there and twiddled our thumbs and waited for them to finish. And so we hate her, because every time she's in the party, and we have told him, and he knows that that's what he's doing, but he likes it, so he does it. And, oh, right, I don't have bags to go back after. Man, I keep looking for my bag symbol. And so, we start talking to her, and something seems weird. And I realize, partway through the conversation, with her and the accountant, that they have started arresting people who oppose Dracula, Strahd, and that the accountant is acting weird. And I think probably at this point the accountant is Strahd. Now we don't want to be here at all, right? Now this is key to this story. We did not want to be there at all. At all. Our plan was to go to the castle. And our DM didn't want us to go to the castle. He wanted us to come here. He said it was important that we go there instead. And so we came here. Oh, it says it's unlocked. And so we did. And so we're talking to this guy. I realize he's Strahd. So I use an ability I have, and this really irks me. I use an ability I have called Divine Sense. And so what Divine Sense does is... Can I repair... No. I don't understand what it takes to repair it. I don't know what that symbol is. Must be forged iron or something. And so our DM decides that even though Divine Sense reveals what something is, if it's a certain class, undead, celestial, which is angels, demons, that kind of stuff. If it's good or if it's evil, he says I get no reading off of them, and so I don't think that they are who I think they are, or at least I don't think that guy is who I think he is. And but I'm pretty sure. And so what is that? Nitrate. Oh. It's like a lump of crystal now. Now I'm curious as to what that other weird rock was. Like, this is just stone. Great. Now that I want to know what that square-looking rock is, I'm not going to be able to find one. And and so I'm like, really? I don't detect anything from him? Nope, you don't detect anything from him. Okay. So then I cast he says the guards start to surround us, so I have my wizard cast Summon Elemental, which is a level 5 spell. And so he's like, oh, well, the accountant counterspells that. I'm like, okay, there's no way this is the accountant. This is Strahd, or one of his minions at least. Because the woman and the accountant are suddenly in love with each other, and I'm like, yeah, this is totally Strahd trying to take her over. And then he, there we go. So what is this one? Oh, it's lead. Okay. So those square blocks are lead. So that's surface lead. And then nitrate is big pile of crystal. Interesting. Okay, you know, I think... oh, I do have a point available. If I go under intellect and I go to advanced engineering, blacksmith allows me to forge iron. So I do that. Can I take what little bit of iron I've got? And I'm going to head to the forge guy and see if I can't get some forged iron to repair my metal tools here. I should totally unload some stuff at base first, though. And so, of course, after he counterspells, then, you know, he reveals that he's Strahd. And I'm like, so my Divine Sense didn't work, huh? And the other guy's playing like, yep, nothing like the DM stopping your, innate abilities from working just because. I'm like, yep. And so he does this thing that I hate. It's not how the game works. He ruins a lot of the game because he won't follow the way the game works. And one of the things he does is he always lets the bad guys do like 20 things before combat starts and won't let us respond. And so the guy grabs the girl and flies up in the air 60 feet off the ground, because this is his favorite thing to do, because if he's 60 feet off the ground, then my guy with a sword can't reach him. and so he flies 60 feet off the ground, and then he summons his horse, which is a flying horse, and then he uses his legendary action to move another 30 feet. I'm like, wait, wait, wait. The horse has legendary actions? And he's like, well, no. I'm like, well, the horse is a separate entity, and that's not how the game works. Um, and he's like, well, I mean, it's supposed to go on its own turn and everything, but I just lump them together. Yeah, but that doesn't give the horse the abilities of the vampire Strahd. Maybe it does. I don't know. It's just super annoying. So now he's moved 120 feet away, or not 120, 90 feet away, and so um, he's already stopped my guy from casting a spell once. I try again, and I forget. Oh, I tried dispel magic. That's what happened. I tried to dispel his. Yeah, I got those in the wrong order. I tried to dispel his disguise because I thought maybe it was a magical disguise, and I mean, if there was no disguise, then it just nothing would have happened, and that's what he stopped was the dispel magic. And then on my first round of combat, I tried to summon my elemental, and he counterspelled that as well. And oh, that is not. I guess I gotta keep going here. And so then our arcane archer he goes, and so then I'm like, should we just go to the castle at this point, because he's already moved 90 feet, and so on his next turn he's going to move like 120 feet or something, and I can catch him, but the rest of you won't be able to, and I don't know that we want to waste this much effort when we're just going to have to go to the castle to fight him like we intended to do in the first place, and so there was no reason for us to do any of this. And so our entire night was go talk to this woman and then come up with the plan to go to what did I come here for? I didn't come here to talk to you. I came here to use your forge. I think they had a forge. Yeah. Oh shoot. Doesn't a forge take clay to get forged iron out of it? I gotta go dig up some clay. Shoot. And this is all just gonna be oh no, there's clay here. Well, there was clay on that first hit. So yeah, it was annoying. It was super annoying. I don't know why he thought that that would be fun for us to not be able to do anything the entire night except waste our. And then he's like, hey, and then he's got his character and the NPC, and he's like, I think we should rest for tonight and get our abilities back. And I'm like, I think we should chase after the vampire who has the girl. I don't care that he said his wedding was in 3 days. I think we should go now while, he's already used one of his legendary resistances for the day, and instead of later when he expects us to be there. And so yeah, we went to the castle, but man, we didn't get to do anything at the castle. That was it. We went to the castle, and then that was the end of the night. But we started the night going, we're going to go to the castle, and then he's like, I think you should go to these other places. And then all those other places were spots for him to chit-chat and do nothing that we wanted to do. Forged iron. Okay, I wasn't sure if I had to have the anvil or not. It's not a 1-for-1 either. Look at that. It's... Dang it. I just need a little bit more iron. I don't have anything on me. Alright, let's go outside real quick and see if I can find something with some iron. There's some lead. That doesn't help me. There's a tree trunk. That doesn't help me. No trash or anything to loot out here. I just need a little bit, just a little bit of iron. One piece of iron, like one, ow, one can would do it. What is this weird looking thing? This is something, but oil shale. It's very shiny. Oh shoot, that was I thought it was a rock. It was a bag. Probably what I was looking for. But yeah, it was I just... Why have us do all that? I don't understand. I don't, like, we weren't allowed to do anything, is the thing. Like, nothing we did mattered. Nothing we did. He was going to take the girl. It didn't matter. We didn't need to have that confrontation. We could have found out she'd have been kidnapped already, and then we head to the castle straight from there. We didn't need a whole confrontation scene. It's not that it happened, I guess. It's the fact that we weren't allowed to respond to any of it. Because as soon as we tried, he's like, oh, well, your arrows don't do any damage, and your sunlight doesn't seem to affect them the way it's affected other vampires, and I've counterspelled 2 of your spells, both with natural 20s, mind you. And so, yeah, there's nothing you can do here. So we have to go to the castle where we said we wanted to go in the first place. I gotcha. I don't know why we didn't just go to the castle in the first place, because that means an entire D&D night, which we already skipped 2 in a row. It's basically 3 weeks in a row where nothing useful happened in D&D. I mean, we got Esmeralda back, right? That was important. Esmeralda, she's such an important part of our group. Always there, watching our backs. You know, except for those times when it's going to get tough and she runs off because she has other things to do that we don't need to know about. But, yeah. Alright, well, I'm going to try and get one more piece of iron here. And I definitely can get a piece of iron here. Is this... Nope, okay. There you go, piece of iron. Yeah, I'm going to get a second piece of forged iron. So, click like if you like, subscribe and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.